My name is Thomas Harlan, and if you had told a 16-year-old version of me, greasy-haired, grease-stained hands from shop class, dreaming of nothing more complicated than steady union pay and a cold beer after work, that one day I'd be sitting on a screened porch in Naples, Florida, at 68 years old, listening to the Gulf waves crash while writing down the story of how I lost almost everything I built, well, that kid would have laughed in your face and gone back to rewiring a practice outlet box. But life doesn't ask for permission. It hands you promises, one after another, and if you're the kind of man who believes in keeping his word, like my father was, like I tried to be, those promises can become the very things that anchor you or drag you under. It started with Sarah. We met in the fall of 1974 at Dayton Roosevelt High School. I was a junior, 16, tall for my age, but skinny, the kind of kid who spent more time in the vocational wing than in English class. My dad was a lineman for Ohio Edison before me, climbed poles in ice storms, came home with frostbite on his fingertips more than once. He taught me early, electricity doesn't care about your feelings, so respect it and it'll respect you back. I took that to heart. Shop class was my sanctuary. I loved the smell of solder, the hum of a multimeter, the clean snap when a circuit finally closed. Sarah was different. She was in the college prep track, volunteered at the Humane Society on weekends, wore her auburn hair in a loose braid, and had this quiet way of looking at people that made you feel seen. We shared a biology class second period. Mr. Kessler, the teacher, was a chain smoker who smelled like menthols even at 8 a.m. One day he paired us for a frog dissection. I was nervous, didn't want to look stupid in front of her. She handed me the scalpel first. "You do the honors," she said, smiling. "I trust you not to make a mess." I laughed, too loud. My hand shook a little, but I made the cut clean. She talked the whole time about how frogs have 3-chambered hearts, how they can breathe through their skin. I mostly listened. By the end of the period, she knew my name, I knew hers, and something had shifted. Our first real conversation happened outside after school. She was waiting for the city bus, holding a cardboard box with a kitten inside that she'd rescued from behind the cafeteria dumpster. Rain was coming down in sheets. "You need a ride?" I asked, jingling my dad's old Ford keys. She looked at me, then at the box. "Only if you promise not to tell anyone I smell like wet cat." I drove her home, slow, careful, windows cracked so the kitten wouldn't get carsick. We talked the whole way. She wanted to be a nurse someday. I wanted to follow my dad into the union. Neither of us had big dreams of leaving Ohio. We liked it here. The flat land, the smell of cut grass in summer, the way the Miami River looked silver at dusk. I dropped her off at a small brick house on Linden Avenue. She turned back before going inside. "Thanks, Tommy. You're nicer than you look." That was it. I was done for. We started dating that winter. First date, drive-in theater on a Friday night in December. The Godfather was playing again. Everyone had seen it, but we didn't care. I parked in the back row, bought popcorn and Cokes. We shared a blanket because the heater in the Ford barely worked. Halfway through the movie, she rested her head on my shoulder. I didn't move for the next 2 hours, afraid to breathe wrong. By spring, we were inseparable. Prom came. I rented a tux that was 2 sizes too big, borrowed my uncle's Chevy Impala. Sarah wore a pale blue dress her mom made. We danced to Stairway to Heaven under crepe paper stars in the gym. Later, parked by Eastwood Lake, she kissed me first. Soft, tentative, tasting like cherry chapstick. I told her I loved her that night. She said it back. Graduation 1976. I went straight to the apprenticeship program at Ohio Edison. Sarah started nursing school at Sinclair Community College. We saw each other every weekend. Dinners at her parents' house, walks along the river, late-night drives with the windows down. Money was tight. I lived at home, saved every overtime dollar. She worked part-time at a diner after graduating. In 1985, 2 years after high school, I asked her to marry me. Not fancy, no ring yet. We were sitting on the hood of the Impala at sunset, eating McDonald's fries. I pulled a small velvet box from my pocket, a simple gold band with a tiny diamond I'd saved 6 months for. "Marry me, Sarah," I said. My voice cracked. She cried, said yes. We got married that October in a little Methodist church on Brown Street, 50 people total. Her dad walked her down the aisle. My dad cried during the vows. First time I'd ever seen him tear up. Reception in the church basement. Ham sandwiches, sheet cake, punch in plastic cups. We danced to Can't Help Falling in Love on a borrowed record player. Honeymoon was 3 days in a cabin near Indian Lake. No TV, no phone. Just us, a wood stove, and the sound of loons at night. We talked about the future, kids, a house, growing old together. Simple dreams. We moved into a 1-bedroom apartment above a hardware store on 3rd Street. Rent $180 a month. I worked days, she worked nights at the hospital after graduating. We ate a lot of spaghetti, watched Johnny Carson, made love on a mattress on the floor because we couldn't afford a frame yet. It was the happiest time of my life. In 1985, we bought the house on Maple Street, $65,000. Big stretch. FHA loan, 10% down scraped from savings and wedding gifts. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, eat-in kitchen, unfinished basement. The backyard had a chain-link fence and a single maple tree. Sarah cried when we got the keys. Our first real home, Tommy. We painted walls, planted tulips, hung curtains her mom sewed. I built shelves in the garage for my tools. She turned the smallest bedroom into a nursery, just in case. Ethan came in 1994. Sarah was 38. I was 36. Labor lasted 18 hours. I held her hand, wiped her forehead with cool cloths. When he finally arrived, red-faced, screaming, perfect, she looked at me and whispered, "We did it." We named him Ethan Thomas. From the first night home, he slept in a bassinet next to our bed. Sarah quit the hospital to stay home. I picked up every extra shift I could. The 529 plan started the day we brought him home from the hospital. I deposited $50, first of many. For college, I told Sarah. He won't have to scrape like we did. Years blurred into routines. Diapers, first steps, preschool. Ethan was curious, always asking questions. "Why do lights turn on, Daddy?" I'd sit him on my lap, show him a simple circuit with batteries and bulbs. He loved it. Sarah read him books every night. Dr. Seuss, then chapter books. We took him to the Air Force Museum, the zoo, county fairs. Summers meant backyard sprinklers. Winter meant sledding on hills behind the house. By the time Ethan was 8, the 529 was $18,000. I was proud. Overtime was brutal. 12-hour shifts in January, blizzards, fingers numb inside gloves, but every deposit felt like a brick in his future. Then 2004 happened. Sarah found the lump in March, small, hard, under her left armpit. She waited 2 weeks to tell me, didn't want to worry me during a big storm season. Doctor visit, mammogram, ultrasound, biopsy. The word malignant landed like a hammer. Stage 3 breast cancer, aggressive, spread to lymph nodes. Treatment started immediately. Chemo first, 4 rounds of heavy drugs. Her hair fell out in the shower one morning. She cried in my arms. I look like a stranger. I bought her wigs, scarves. She wore them bravely. Radiation came next. Every weekday for 6 weeks. Skin burned red, blistered. I drove her, waited in the parking lot, brought her home to ice packs and pain meds. Ethan was 10. He knew something was wrong, but not how bad. Mom's just tired from helping sick people, we'd say. Surgeries, lumpectomy, then mastectomy when margins weren't clear, reconstruction later. Scars she hid under high neck shirts. Nights she woke screaming from nightmares. I slept on the couch some nights so she could spread out. Bills mounted. $18,000 first year, $42,000 second. Insurance covered 70%, but copays, deductibles, experimental infusions insurance called experimental. We refinanced the house, maxed cards. I worked doubles whenever possible. Ethan withdrew, stopped talking much, spent hours in his room with video games. I'd find him crying sometimes. Is Mom going to die? I'd hug him. We're fighting hard, buddy. By late 2005, scans showed Mets to bone. Pain became constant. Morphine patches, then liquid. She lost weight, cheeks hollow, arms thin. But her eyes stayed bright when she looked at Ethan or me. Christmas 2006 was our last. She insisted on a tree, lights, presents, sat in her recliner, wrapped in blankets, watching Ethan open gifts. I cooked turkey. We ate in the living room so she didn't have to move much. That night, she whispered, "I'm scared, Tommy." I held her. "I'm right here, always." January 2006, she went downhill fast. Hospice came, hospital bed in the living room. Ethan slept on the couch beside her. I took family leave. The union fought for it. February 12, 2006. Snow outside. She was lucid that morning, held my hand. "Promise me, Tommy. Anything. Give Ethan everything. College, a start, a good life. Don't let him struggle like we did. And don't stop living after I'm gone. Find joy again. For me." I nodded, tears burning. She looked at Ethan, asleep nearby. "Tell him I love him every day." She slipped away that evening, quiet, peaceful. I felt the moment her breathing stopped, like the house exhaled and never inhaled again. Funeral 3 days later, church full. Union guys in dress blues, neighbors, Sarah's family from Indiana. Ethan stood straight, 12 years old, eyes red but dry. He didn't cry in public. Only later in his room did he break. I bury her next to my parents in the cemetery on Harshman Road. Simple stone. Sarah Elizabeth Harlan, 1956-2006. Beloved wife, mother, friend. The house felt hollow after. Echoes. Her perfume lingered in closets for months. I kept her robe on the back of the bathroom door. Sometimes I'd bury my face in it. Grief came in waves. Some days I functioned, work, meals, Ethan to school. Others I sat in the dark garage, tools untouched, staring at nothing. Ethan needed me. I knew that. So I stood up. Cooked dinners, helped with homework, took him to hockey practice. Every Sunday we visited the grave, brought flowers, talked to her like she could hear. The 529 was at $32,000 by then. I added more aggressively, skipped vacations, ate ramen so I could deposit extra. "This is for you," I'd tell Ethan. "Your mom wanted this." High school passed. Ethan excelled. Grades up, soccer team captain. Graduation acceptances came. Ohio State, full ride almost, but not quite. I covered the rest. Graduation 2010, backyard party, neighbors, burgers. I gave him the speech. "Your mom is watching. Make her proud." He hugged me hard. "Thanks for everything, Dad." I believed then that the promise was being kept. I didn't know yet how heavy it would become. Chapter 2. The College Years. The years after Sarah's funeral felt like walking through fog, thick, disorienting, the kind where you keep moving forward because stopping means sinking. Ethan was 12, still a boy in so many ways, but forced to grow up overnight. I was 40, suddenly a single father, widower, and the sole guardian of a promise that now weighed more than any tool belt I ever carried. The house on Maple Street, once filled with Sarah's laughter and the smell of her baking, became a place of quiet routines and unspoken grief. We learned to navigate it together, one careful step at a time. The first few months were the hardest. Mornings were mechanical. Alarm at 5:30 a.m., coffee black and strong, wake Ethan for school. He'd shuffle out in pajamas that were getting too small, hair tousled like his mother's used to be. Breakfast was usually cereal or toast, simple things I could manage without burning the place down. Sarah had been the cook. I was the fixer. Now I had to be both. "Can we have pancakes?" he'd ask some days, boys small. I'd nod, pull out the mix, try to remember how she did it. Add a pinch of cinnamon, a splash of vanilla. The first batch always came out lumpy or burnt on one side. Ethan never complained. He'd eat them anyway, drowning them in syrup and say, They're good, Dad. That lie kept me going. School drop-off became our ritual. I'd drive him to Horace Mann Middle School in the old Ford pickup truck, radio low on classic rock. We'd talk about nothing important. Weather, homework, whether the Bengals had a chance that season. Anything to fill the silence where Sarah's voice used to be. After dropping him off, I'd head to the job site. Ohio Edison had me on overhead lines mostly, climbing poles in all weather, splicing wires, restoring power after storms. The physical work was a mercy. Up there, 40 feet in the air, wind whipping, focus narrow to the task at hand, grief couldn't creep in as easily. Down on the ground, though, it waited. Lunch breaks in the truck cab, staring at my phone. No new messages from her. I'd scroll old photos instead. Sarah laughing at the county fair, Ethan as a toddler on her hip. Tears would come sometimes, quiet ones. I'd wipe them fast before the crew noticed. Evenings were for Ethan. Homework at the kitchen table, math problems that made my head spin, English essays about a person who inspires you. He'd write about Sarah every time. My mom was kind and brave. She fought cancer like a superhero, but lost. I miss her every day. Reading those words over his shoulder, I'd have to excuse myself to the bathroom, splash cold water on my face, breathe. We visited the grave every Sunday after church. The cemetery on Harshman Road was peaceful, rolling green hills, old oaks, the faint sound of traffic from I-75 in the distance. Sarah's stone was simple granite, etched with her name, dates, and beloved wife, mother, friend. I'd bring fresh flowers from the grocery, daisies mostly, her favorite. She'd place them carefully, then sit cross-legged on the grass and talk to her. "Hi, Mom. School's okay. Dad burned the pancakes again, but they're getting better. I made the soccer team. Wish you could see my games." I'd stand back, letting him have the moment. Sometimes he'd ask me questions. "Do you think she hears us?" I'd say yes, because what else could I say? She's always listening, buddy. Grief counseling started that spring. The school recommended it. Ethan was withdrawing, grades slipping slightly. Teachers noticed he stared out windows during class. The counselor was a kind woman named Mrs. Reynolds, mid-50s, soft voice. She met with both of us at first, then Ethan alone, then me. For me, the sessions were raw. I'd sit in her office, hands clasped tight, and talk about the guilt. I should have noticed the lump sooner, should have pushed her to the doctor faster. Mrs. Reynolds would listen, nod. Grief isn't logical, Tom. It's not about blame. Ethan's sessions were different. He didn't cry much in front of her, or me. But one day he came home and said, "Mrs. Reynolds says it's okay to be mad at Mom for leaving." That hit hard. I hugged him. You can be mad at anything you need to be mad at. Just don't keep it inside. Slowly, routine solidified. I learned to cook better. Spaghetti with meat sauce, chili in the slow cooker, frozen pizzas upgraded with extra cheese. We watched TV together. Reruns of The Simpsons, Bengals games, documentaries on the Discovery Channel. Ethan started opening up more. He'd tell me about school crushes, fights with friends, dreams of playing pro soccer someday. The 529 plan became my anchor. Sarah and I had started it the day Ethan was born. $50 initial deposit from a bonus check. By 2006, it was around $32,000, invested conservatively in mutual funds. After she passed, I made it sacred. Every paycheck, I'd transfer what I could. $100, $200 when overtime hit. I cut corners everywhere. No cable upgrade, no new clothes unless necessary, lunches packed instead of bought. The crew teased me sometimes. "Harlan, you still eating PB&J like a kid?" But I smiled and said, saving for the boy's future. I calculated obsessively. At 5% average return, by the time Ethan turned 18 in 2012, it could hit $80,000 to $90,000 if I kept adding. Ohio State tuition was rising fast, out of state even more, but in-state would be manageable. No loans, no debt. That was the goal. High school started in 2008. Ethan at Belmont High. Good public school, strong academics and sports. He made varsity soccer as a sophomore, played midfielder. Games were Friday nights under floodlights. I'd sit in the bleachers, bundled against October chill, cheering louder than anyone. After wins, he'd run over, sweaty and grinning. "Did you see that pass, Dad?" I'd ruffle his hair. "Saw everything. Proud of you." We traveled a little. Road trips to Cedar Point, a weekend in Cleveland for a Browns game. They lost, but we laughed. Summers meant camping at Cedar Creek State Park. Tent, campfire, s'mores. Ethan learned to fish, tie knots, start fires. I taught him basic electrical stuff, how to change an outlet, wire a lamp. "Someday you'll need this," I'd say. He rolled his eyes but listened. Money was tight but manageable. Union pay was solid, $28 an hour by then, plus benefits. Pension vesting, health insurance covered most. But Sarah's medical debt lingered, $22,000 still on payment plans. I chipped at it monthly, never missed. Credit score took a hit, but I didn't care. Ethan's future came first. Junior year, 2010, 2011, college talk ramped up. Guidance counselor meetings, SAT prep. Ethan scored well, 1,280 combined. Not perfect, but good. Applications went out fall of senior year. Ohio State, top choice. University of Cincinnati, Miami University. He wanted business, maybe marketing, like commercials and stuff, he said. Acceptance letters came spring 2010. Ohio State, admitted to Fisher College of Business. Partial scholarship, $8,000 a year, merit. Rest on us. Tuition then was about $10,000 in-state, plus room and board, $10,000 more. Total around $20,000 per year. The 529 was at $68,000 by graduation. With growth and my final deposits, it covered most of 4 years. I told Ethan over dinner one night, steak I'd splurged on. "Son, college is paid, no loans. Your mom made sure of that." He stared at his plate, eyes shiny. "Thanks, Dad, for everything." Graduation day, June 2010, Belmont High Stadium. Hot sun, caps and gowns. Ethan walked across the stage, diploma in hand. I stood in the crowd, clapping until my palms stung. After, backyard party at home. Neighbors, union guys, Sarah's sister from Indiana. Burgers on the grill, music from a boombox. I gave a toast. "To Ethan, your mom is watching. Make her proud." He hugged me tight. "I will, Dad. Promise." That summer before college, he worked at a landscaping company, mowing lawns, planting flowers, saved $3,000 for spending money. I matched it, another $3,000 into a checking account for him. Emergency fund, and fun, I said. Move-in day at Ohio State, August 2010. Columbus campus buzzing, freshmen everywhere, parents hauling boxes. Ethan had a dorm in Morrill Tower, double room, shared bath down the hall. We unpacked. Twin XL sheets Sarah had bought years earlier, still in storage. Laptop I'd saved for. Mini fridge. His roommate, a kid from Toledo named Jake, seemed nice. I lingered too long. Finally, Ethan hugged me. "Love you, Dad. I'll call." "Love you too. Study hard. Call if you need anything." Driving home alone that day, the truck felt empty. Radio off. Tears came halfway back to Dayton. Quiet, steady. Not sad exactly. Proud. Scared. The promise was in motion. Freshman year flew by. Ethan called Sunday evenings. "College is hard, Dad. Echo is killing me." I'd listen, offer advice. One day at a time. Grades solid. 3.4 GPA first semester. He joined a business fraternity, played intramural soccer. Costs added up. Books, $800 per semester, meal plan extras, occasional trips home. I sent money when asked. $200 here, $300 there. Never questioned. Your mom's money, I'd think. Sophomore year, apartment off campus with Jake and 2 others. Rent $400 a month each. I helped with first month's deposit, $1,600 total. "Last time," I said. He nodded. Junior year, internships. He landed one in a marketing firm in Columbus. Paid, good experience. Summers home. Worked construction with me some days. "This is hard," he'd say after hauling wire. I'd laugh. Builds character. Senior year, 2013, 2014. Capstone projects, job interviews. He landed a marketing coordinator role in Chicago, $55,000 starting. Offer letter came in March. We celebrated with steak and beer, his first legal one with me. Graduation May 2014, Ohio Stadium. Huge crowd. Ethan in cap and gown, honors cord. I stood in the stands, alone, but not lonely. Sarah's presence felt strong. After, photos, hugs. He whispered, "We did it, Dad." Yes, we did. That night, back in Dayton, we sat on the porch swing, stars out. He said, "Thanks for college, for everything. I couldn't have done it without you." I put my arm around him. "Your mom started it. I just finished." The promise felt fulfilled. Or so I thought. Chapter 3. Meeting Ashley. The summer after Ethan's graduation from Ohio State felt like a brief exhale after years of holding my breath. For the first time in over a decade, the relentless pressure of providing eased just a fraction. No more tuition bills arriving like clockwork, no frantic calculations to stretch the pension and Social Security check to cover books, meal plans, and the occasional emergency fund transfer. The 529 was officially depleted. Every last cent had gone exactly where Sarah and I intended, into Ethan's debt-free degree. He walked into the world with a business degree, honors cord, and 0 loans. That accomplishment sat quietly in my chest like a warm coal, proof that the promise had been kept, at least through college. Ethan moved to Chicago in late June 2014. The job, marketing coordinator at a mid-sized digital agency in the Loop, started July 1st. Salary, $55,000. Not riches, but solid for a 22-year-old with no debt. He found a one-bedroom in Logan Square, $1,400 a month. Walk up, exposed brick, decent light. I helped with the security deposit and first month's rent, $2,800 total, plus $1,000 for moving costs, U-Haul, furniture basics from IKEA. He insisted it was a loan. I waved it off. Consider it your graduation bonus. I drove up with him that first weekend, loaded the truck with his college futon, boxes of clothes, a few kitchen items Sarah had saved for him, her old cast iron skillet, a set of Pyrex bowls she'd used for years, and his bicycle. The drive north on I-65, I-90 was long, about 6 hours, but familiar. We stopped at a rest area near South Bend for gas station sandwiches and talked the whole way. His excitement about the city, nervousness about the job, plans to explore neighborhoods on weekends. When we pulled up to the building, a narrow 3-flat on a tree-lined street, he looked at me and said, "This is real now, Dad. Adult life." I helped carry boxes up 3 flights of stairs. Sweat poured off of both of us by the end. We assembled the IKEA bed frame. Instructions in Swedish were a nightmare, hung curtains, stocked the fridge with basics. That night, we ate deep dish pizza at a place nearby, Giordano's, and walked along the Logan Square Boulevard, watching people, listening to street musicians. He seemed lighter than I'd seen him in years. Driving home alone the next day, the truck empty except for a few stray moving blankets, the silence hit differently. No more weekend trips to Columbus for games or parents' weekends. No more, "Dad, can you wire $300 for books?" The house on Maple Street felt bigger, quieter. I turned on the radio, Oldie's station playing Brown Eyed Girl, and let myself feel the ache, pride mixed with loneliness. Sarah would have loved seeing him settled. I whispered to the empty cab, "We did good, honey." The first few months in Chicago went well. Ethan called every Sunday evening around 8 p.m., our standing time. He'd update me on the job, learning Google Analytics, writing copy for social campaigns, happy hours with coworkers. "The city is insane, Dad. So much energy." He sounded happy. I listened, asked questions, told him about Dayton news, new stoplight on Smithville, neighbor's dog having puppies, normal parent-child talk. Money requests were small at first. Internet setup fee, $150, sent via check. Winter coat, Chicago is brutal, $220, Venmoed it. I never hesitated. He was establishing himself. That's what parents do. Then, in October 2015, the calls changed tone slightly. Dad, my laptop finally died. Blue screen of death during a big presentation. Boss wasn't happy. I winced. How much for a new one? Decent one for work, maybe $1,200? MacBook Air. Everyone here uses them. I transferred it the next day. No questions. By early 2016, the pattern was set. Monthly helps of $300 to $600. Groceries when paychecks ran thin, car insurance spike after a fender bender, gym membership because networking happens at fitness classes. I kept a running tally in a small notebook. Date, amount, purpose. Not out of distrust, but habit. The total crept past $8,000 by spring. Still manageable on pension plus part-time consulting gigs I picked up, teaching basic electrical safety at community centers. Then came the phone call that shifted everything. March 2016, Sunday night, right on schedule. Dad, Ethan said, voice brighter than usual, I met someone. I leaned back in the recliner, TV muted. Tell me. Her name's Ashley, works in interior design, freelance mostly, but she's building a portfolio. We met at a rooftop bar in Wicker Park. Friends dragged me out. She was there with her girlfriends. We started talking and didn't stop. He sounded like a kid again, nervous, excited. She's funny, smart, loves old houses, same as Mom did, wants to open her own studio someday. I smiled into the phone. Bring her home sometime. I'd like to meet her. Christmas 2016. Ethan drove down with Ashley. They arrived late Friday night, snow flurries, headlights cutting through the dark. I had the porch light on, living room decorated simply. Small tree, lights, Sarah's old nativity set on the mantel. Ethan hugged me first, longer than usual. Then Ashley stepped forward. Tall, auburn hair loose around her shoulders, warm brown eyes, easy smile. She extended her hand, then pulled me into a quick hug instead. Mr. Harlan, Tom, it's so nice to finally meet you. Ethan talks about you all the time. I took their coats, showed them to the guest room, Ethan's old bedroom now with a queen bed. Ashley complimented everything, the wood trim, the built-in bookshelves I'd made in the 90s, the smell of pine from the tree. Dinner was pot roast, my best attempt at Sarah's recipe. Carrots, potatoes, gravy from scratch. Ashley helped set the table, asked about the china, Sarah's wedding set. We ate in the dining room for once, candles lit. Conversation flowed. Ashley told stories about growing up in suburban Detroit, design school in Chicago, odd jobs waitressing while building her portfolio. She asked about my work, genuinely interested in union life, pole climbing stories. Ethan watched us both, smiling quietly. After dinner, we moved to the living room. Coffee, Christmas cookies, store-bought, bit good. Ashley noticed the framed photo on the mantel. Sarah holding baby Ethan, me behind them, all smiling. She's beautiful, she said softly. Ethan has her eyes. I nodded, throat tight. She would have liked you. We talked late. Ashley asked about Sarah's illness, not prying, just gentle curiosity. I told the short version. She listened, eyes soft. That must have been so hard for both of you. Ethan reached over, squeezed my shoulder. First time in years he'd done that unprompted. Saturday, we drove around Dayton, showed Ashley the Air Force Museum. She loved the old planes. Eastwood Lake, where Sarah and I used to picnic, the high school Ethan graduated from. Ashley took photos, laughed at Ethan's childhood stories I told. Sunday morning, church, the same Methodist one where Sarah and I married. Ashley came along, no hesitation, sang in the hymns in a clear alto. After, coffee hour, neighbors hugged Ethan, welcomed Ashley. Back home, packing to leave, Ashley helped fold clothes, asked if she could borrow Sarah's cookbook sometime. I want to try her pot roast recipe. I gave her the worn binder, pages yellowed, notes in Sarah's handwriting. Keep it as long as you like. At the door, Ashley hugged me again. Thank you for raising such a good man, Tom. Ethan hugged me last. Love you, Dad. We'll be back soon. I watched their taillights disappear down Maple Street. The house felt warmer than it had in years. They visited twice more that winter, Valentine's weekend, then Easter. Each time, Ashley brought something small, a scented candle, a throw blanket for the couch, homemade biscotti. She fit. She listened when I talked about work, asked about the union pension changes, even helped me fix a leaky faucet one afternoon. She held the flashlight while I crawled under the sink. By summer 2017, Ethan called with news. Dad, I proposed. Heart jumped. And? She said yes. The ring was modest. Solitaire diamond band, white gold. He bought it with his savings and a small loan from me, $3,500, promised repayment. Proposal on a Lake Michigan sunset cruise. Private moment, photographer hidden. Photos arrived via text. Ashley crying happy tears, ring sparkling, Ethan beaming. Wedding planning started immediately. Ashley wanted something elegant but not extravagant. Rustic chic, she called it. Venue, a restored barn in the Chicago suburbs. Wood beams, string lights, open field. Capacity, 150. Cost, $18,000 for the space and catering. Ethan called. Dad, Ashley's dad passed a few years ago. No one to walk her down the aisle. Would you? I didn't hesitate. I'd be honored. My contribution grew. Venue deposit, $9,000. Open bar add-on, $3,500. Photographer, $2,500. Flowers, $1,200. Honeymoon in Hawaii. Flights and hotel, $4,000. They insisted on paying half. I covered the rest. Dress alterations, shoes, invitations. Total for me, just under $28,000. I didn't blink. This was family. Sarah would have wanted it perfect. Wedding day, October 2018. Rehearsal dinner at a downtown Chicago restaurant. Steak, wine, toasts. Ashley's mother cried during hers. I spoke last. Ethan, you've grown into a man your mother would be proud of. Ashley, welcome to the family. Sarah smiling today. The ceremony outdoor under a wooden arch draped in greenery. October sun golden. Ashley in ivory lace, simple veil. I walked through the grass aisle, her arm in mine, steady. She whispered, "Thank you for this." At the altar, I placed her hand in Ethan's, stepped back. Vows were personal, tearful. Rings exchanged, kiss, applause. Reception in the barn, long farm tables, candles, live band. First dance, At Last by Etta James. Father-daughter style dance. Ashley asked me to dance with her while Ethan danced with his aunt. We swayed slowly. She said, "I know Sarah's here. I feel her." I teared up. She is. Cake cutting, bouquet toss, speeches. Ethan's best man toast, funny, heartfelt. Ashley's maid of honor, emotional. Late night, guests thinning. Ethan pulled me aside outside under the stars. "Thanks, Dad, for everything. Couldn't have done this without you." I hugged him. "You deserve it, son." Driving home the next day, long, quiet interstate miles, I felt a deep contentment. The promise had expanded. Not just college, but a start in life, a partner, a celebration. Sarah's legacy lived on. I didn't know yet how the asks would evolve, how the gratitude would slowly shift into expectation, how family would start meaning something different to them. But in that moment, driving south with the taste of wedding cake still on my tongue and Ashley's thank you note in my pocket, everything felt right. Chapter 4. The House and the Baby. 2020, COVID, my gig slowed. Ethan remote. 2021, retirement. Pension $2,800, SSI $1,900, 401k $120,000. 2022, pregnancy, joy. 2023, Lincoln Park House, down $120k. We have $35k. Loan $85k. Hesitated, but for grandbaby. Liquidated, equity line $92k. Wired. Lily born 2024. Held her. Cried. Posted photo. Papa's love. Visits, rare. Calls, asks. Notebook tally, $214,700. Chapter 5. The exclusion begins. Thanksgiving 2025. Drove with gifts. Ashley's parents' center. Photo. Excluded. Posted. Favorites. Call. Why no me? Small family. Hurt. Birthday. Not invited. Social media party. Chapter 6. The Cutoff. Feb 20, 2026. Done. What? Deposit due. Only help family. Calls, texts. Then petition. Guardianship. Decline. Mike. Abuse. Fight. Locks, cameras, new accounts. Screen. Competent. Chapter 7. The Court Battle. Subpoenas. $214,000. May 15 Court. Their witnesses weak. Ours strong. Testimony. Gave everything. Got exclusion. Judge. Denied. Chapter 8. New Life. Sold house. Florida condo. Golf. Fishing. Ellen. Ethan struggled. Learned. Freedom.